But yeah, if you guys want to just introduce yourselves.
So my name's James. I was one of the programmers on Off With Your Head, and this is...
Hello, I'm Jamie. I'm the character artist for Off With Your Head.
Great. Well, thanks for coming in. Do you guys want to kind of give us like a brief pitch of what is Off With Your Head?
So Off With Your Head is a top-down roguelike dungeon crawler. So we've made a procedurally generated dungeon for players to explore. It is set in 17th century revolutionary France, but we've kind of taken a creative spin. So it's an alternate history where there's some sort of elements of kind of, I wouldn't say there's magic in the game, but you know, your character has been brought back from the dead. You go through the dungeon and you kind of spawn as a character with no head and no arms, so you're literally armless. And essentially you go through collecting limbs, and these limbs vary from like normal limbs of, oh, this is just an arm with a sword or an arm with a crossbow, to crab limbs to scorpion arm. Then we've got a range of heads, such as a wizard's head, cherry bomb heads. What else?
We also have like Medusa as well, some just really weird stuff, and I think that's really what makes our game shine, is just like playing in a bit of history, but then also making it very weird. And I think I really liked making stuff for that. So
Okay, cool. Should we play it?
Yeah, let's dive into it. Very weird is always something I like to hear from our games.
So you start off with your head being removed, yeah?
yeah. So that way you can go and get a new one.
Yeah.
France is the theatre of this redoubtable contest.
Yeah, good to have some Robespierre to get us in the mood for Off With Your Head.
It's coming there. There we go. So it's almost like a twin stick shooter, isn't it? Here we go. So that's Marie Antoinette.
Yeah, so she gives you a little like love letter at the start to kind of introduce the world a little bit, introduce the characters, and kind of give you an idea of what you want to do, like what you are going to be doing in the game.
Yeah. And I'll probably won't get to the end, so I'm not going to give it away. but there is a twist ending, isn't there?
Yeah, a little
so
twist.
well worth pursuing. So I don't know how far I'll get. Let's have a go. Continue.
So if you press F to continue there, sorry.
That's okay. Right. So here I go.
So our dungeon has, so in the spawn room, you kind of just start off, like I said, no head, no arms, but you've actually got two arms that spawn with you. It's the sword arm and the crossbow arm. And whilst those they're very usable arms, they're not weak in any way, but there are stronger limbs to find. You can also find collectibles. So even though when you spawn in, you have the starting letter that gives the context to the story, there are other collectibles like newspapers, there's letters, you can find other limbs. So all of these are like small elements where our writers worked extremely hard to help build this world and help bring like much needed context to what are you doing, what is the state of the world, how has it progressed.
So you get the information coming in that way. That's excellent.
It's quite impressive. Your character is able to read all of this with no eyes at the moment, but
I think he just feels the love.
He just
for the most part, he feels the love from Marie Antoinette.
Yeah.
So if you're struggling with that, if you hold E and then press, is there another input coming in?
I don't know if we've got the controller input, maybe, but
That's weird. Didn't have this problem last time.
is it just endlessly going down? It looks like we could do a quick restart, maybe, if it might fix the issue.
Should just be E to pick up.
Hold E and press left or right click.
There you go.
I can get through it this way.
Yep. So we've got the crossbow arm, it looks like, on the right there. Do you guys have any kind of things to say about like what the inspiration was for the different weapons and things? Because it sounds like some of them are very strange.
Yeah, so we started off with, with the sword, we looked at like actual French weaponry during the time, same with the crossbow. But and then we started branching out, so there's a like a torch arm, which is just like a dungeon torch that would be, to light the way kind of thing. But we actually turned that into a flamethrower, so you get that kind of power in there as well. But we also branched out into some really weird stuff with like crab arms and scorpion tails, and those would be a part of enemies that we have planned and we had modeled, but we never quite got into the final build.
So where do I get the head from?
You have to go find a head. There are special rooms. If you look on the mini map in the bottom right, there are question marks, and those rooms will have there'll be special rooms. So some will have heads, and some will have other little goodies to find.
Okay, so we've encountered some enemies already.
Yeah, the scrolling's still going on, actually.
Nope. There you go.
That's it.
So was an idea originally to kind of like sort of rip the arms and heads off your enemies and kind of just put them on yourself? Is that the idea?
Yeah. So originally when we had the idea, so the idea started from just the mechanic of swapping limbs, and it kind of came from the idea of like a Frankenstein's monster. And then we played with we spoke to our writers, and we had two, and they just kind of played with the idea, and we ended up in France somehow. And but it's been really fun changing all these ideas. So
yeah, because the decapitation makes sense with your sort of French Revolution theme that you've got going on. Was there ever an idea of kind of trying to extend that to the whole body, like legs and everything?
Yeah, so we originally did have legs that we wanted to do, but we figured we would need to put some kind of limitations in place. So unfortunately, legs we never got around to, especially with animation complications as well. So
yeah, we definitely didn't want to make it too hard on the animator, because we knew that the body itself, it has its own idle animation, it has its own walk animation, and so that incorporates the legs. And then the arms themselves, they have their own idle animation, and they have their own attack animation. So each arm is slightly different, and the body is its own thing. So it's kind of a matter of, do we want to have our animator hate us by the end of the year, or do we want to, give them a fair shot of like representing their work? And I think they've done a really good job. Greg did a really nice job, with a lot of the animations. He did a lot with the enemies and the player character, and has managed to sort of animate every limb.
Yeah, it's a lot to animate. How many limbs are there in total?
There's 10.
10. Wow. Okay. Do you know how many combinations that makes for?
I think we calculated it to over 1,000.
Oh wow!
Because you can have two of the same limb. You could have so that adds up to quite a lot. And then there's also the head, including the heads in that as well. So
yeah, I don't know if you can try and pick up a different limb, Terry, or.
Oh, I did. I swapped over. My health was getting low. So
right.
I will swap over in a minute.
So talking about your health getting low, that fountain's actually a way you can heal yourself. So if you run up to it and press F, you get a lot of your health back.
Excellent. Having a nice refreshing drink there.
So because you don't have a head, like you don't have a small mouth, you've just got a hole now where you can just drop all the liquid into. That's what I like to think that's happening there.
Right, so let's get E.
So if you hold E, is it, and then click on the mouse?
Yeah. So I replaced that one. So I need another limb. Have I?
I guess the advantage of a system like this is you can try and mix and match different weapon abilities for different strategies. I remember enjoying the Scorpion arm a lot, just because you kind of create like an area of sort of damage over time almost. That was my favorite one. But do you guys have a favorite limb?
My favorite's the torch arm. If you hold down the torch arm limb, so the left click, it will spew out a lot of flames.
So if you click and hold, Terry, is it like just a...
Oh, he's died.
Oh no,
I've
Terry.
died! Oh no,
Terry,
no,
what
no.
have you done?
I've died.
Oh no. Marie Antoinette's telling you.
She's told me off.
You've fallen again.
I've fallen, yes. F to continue. But I'm back. No, I'm not back. Oh, that's a shame.
Oh dear, head off again.
I'm going to start again. I like
I
this.
think one major thing we wanted to do with our game, because many roguelikes are, you keep trying and trying again because they can be quite difficult, and the incentive to play the game is to try again and get a little bit further, is we've incorporated that into the story. So you get the opening letter and then you get the death letter, and they both strongly hint that you've been doing this multiple times. And so we've kind of shown in our story that this is now the second attempt, and that's actually canon, let's say.
And you randomize the level so much that you can get almost to the end very quickly, can't you? Some of them.
Yeah, but obviously the punishment of that is if you just run through it and don't pick up any limbs, then
Then
you're in
not
for a
in
nasty
you're in
surprise.
for
So.
Absolutely. So it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? I quite like that. There we go. I've got two weapons, so off I go again.
So, if you guys had to kind of start from scratch, same game idea, would you do anything in particular differently?
I think I would just go all out and just make even more wackier limbs. I think, like, I realized that some of my favorite variations were just like, I really like the double torch arm, just spewing like fire everywhere. I think I would just kind of take it further and make them even more wackier. And
What was the best feedback you've had so far? What people most enjoyed doing?
so I think the thing that I liked seeing was just seeing how like everyone's different variations and almost people forming like a meta for the game. So when we were playtesting, we would have a lot of people saying, "Oh, this weapon is really powerful, but I like it that it's powerful." And so I think for a while, a lot of people were just running double swords because it was very quick, and we had to like tone down the speed a little bit. But it was really fun just seeing like that kind of reaction from people.
That is quite nice. Double swords is great.
Yeah, definitely.
Is there a multiplier going on there?
No, but we have had some people saying that it would be really fun with multiplayer, and I definitely agree. I would really like to include that as well.
Oh, I like the multi-sword. That's great. So will anything recover your limb health, or is it just
No,
right,
We chose that so that way you're forced to experiment, and you get a lot of limbs dropping anyway. You should be, you'll be quite quick to find new ones to replace those. And I think something that I also really enjoyed is like, so some people would take like safer options. So they would take like a range and a melee. So then they've got both areas covered. But then others would just go with the 2 flamethrowers because that would be very powerful. However, it depletes very quickly.
So I believe...
I'm dead again.
Terry's dead again.
I'm crap at games. You can know that by now. That's good. I love it. I think it's great. It's got a lot of potential for going forward.
Thank you very much.
So we're kind of coming to the end of this little session on Off With Their Head. But before we go, do you guys have anything you want to say to any of the game developers out there who might be considering game development? Any advice you might give them?
I guess do it. Just make it wacky. Make it fun.
Yeah.
Don't make things serious all the time. I think things can be really fun when they're just silly.
Yeah, weirder the better, I would say.
Yeah, I'd say have fun with it. Explore stupid ideas because, they might not work. You might have seen it done before and it doesn't work, but just the best way to learn is by just doing these silly ideas and trying to connect them in a silly way. And I don't know, it can be really easy to let sort of, I guess, some failures or some people who say, "Oh, I don't particularly like this," because honestly, like over EXPO, we've had so many people say, "Oh, we didn't particularly like this," or "We didn't like that," and then I've had someone else say, "Actually, we really love this."
Yeah. And
kind of don't try to please everyone. Just if you make something you like, the likelihood is someone else is gonna like it. Like Jamie and I'd say we have very similar like favorite games, let's say. And so we both like similar things. We like what we've done with this, but then there's other people who don't like the same games as us, play something else. So
yeah, that's good advice. I mean, the market is so big now that if you do something a bit off the wall, you can hit something with the sweet spot that nobody else can. So yeah, well done.
Great. Well, thank you very much, guys, for coming and showing off your game. Really interesting project.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I hope you enjoyed working on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Quick shout out to Clowntown. Thanks for working with us. It's been an absolutely amazing year. So
great. Well, thanks again.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.